Back to the channel, and we're going to play another one of the stadium design contest courses. Now, it's been a little while, work has been crazy busy. Um, so, as came with all of these, I will be terrible at playing. But we're going to fly around, have a little look at how it's going, and yeah, see how everything goes. It's been a while since I played this game, so yeah. Okay, I do remember a few of these courses. So we've got lush green and rough. Oh, that red is bright. Um, cool. So very much a rockier, like we did say, like you could take this whatever direction you wanted. This is definitely different. Interesting feel. We have our grandstands and crowds and things. Yeah, I mean, it's within the scope of what you could do. Certainly ponds and lakes and things have featured heavily. Rocks less so. I like the environment. It looks like we've got lots of width, which is a good thing. Really kind of gone for big, bold land movement. I like this a lot. Yeah, this looks interesting. One thing I always find with like the small pines and conifers is they can look really odd if they're just kind of dotted. I kind of feel like they always should be more of groves than little dotted ones, but they could have just been hand planted, which would make sense for the style, of course. We've got an out of bounds hole and some water, and yeah, this looks interesting. I like what you've done with the remove heavy rough as well. Kind of real, like lots of interesting texture play. Greens look big, course looks relatively wide. This is a good thing. Oh, interested to play this. Right, whereabouts are we? And we've got a clubhouse and lots of holes kind of returning to it. Works well. Okay, so if you were the first tee, you'd be here. So that presumably is 18. Be my guess. That'll be 9. And 10 plays off in that direction. Oh, okay. So first hole, opening up with long par 4. Down towards the water. That's a nasty pin. Because you can... Yeah. No, I like this. This makes a lot of sense. Some rumpled land movement, but it's not choppy. It's just rumpled, which makes sense as well. It's good. Oh, the tempo is not atrocious. Not going to be where we want to be, but that's fine. Light rough, hopefully. Generous light rough cut is good. And again, like I like that because it means if you're slightly off, you've still got a shot. If you're miles off, you probably don't. But it does factor into this. I do like the bunkering, I think. I think you could probably vary sizes. Oh, no, you have done a little bit back here. And we'll see how it goes. Didn't think... it's dicey. Hoping it will slow up a little bit and then just roll on. That's pretty good. Didn't want to go all for that pin. Yeah, I really like this. So like you can roll it through. There's a lot of helping stuff this side, but if you're a bit too aggressive, that green's really good. Ah, oh, just missed the putt. But that's okay. 156. It's a slightly crowned pin, which I don't love, but that's a me thing. The thing with difficulty is everyone has their things that they will or won't do. Where you draw that line per. Okay, so this is playing to that big watery backdrop with the cliffs. I don't know how much I love the lake at the back, if I'm honest. I kind of feel like you've got the one in front, looks good. I would probably prefer this if it were just walled with trees at the back. And the trees growing on the rock looks a little odd. But not bad. I like that you've taken some chances with the bunkering and done some interesting things. So like this is really cool. Like it works really well and looks good. And I love the par 3 and how it sets up. It's a very spicy green, which I'm all for on a short par 3. Oh, that slow isn't. Oh, it might help if it just grabs and starts coming back. Nope, we've got a nightmare of a putt. It wasn't a good putt. It wasn't a good shot even. So I think if I go straight at it, not good. Like, it's making me answer some questions, which is a good thing. Let me just tap it this way and just trust that the green brings it down. It's fun. Like, enjoy that. It's not often you have to be strategic with putts, and that's a really hard balance to find. Hey, hole 3. Hang around the rocks this time. This one's got a lot of space, so this one should be a real birdie chance. Maybe fairway feels very wide compared to the first few. Obviously, the second one's a par 3, but it's quite a tight landing zone. This one feels like you can kind of hit it anyway. And yeah, you're blind from this side, but I think people would be taking that route most of the time. I need to sit. It does need to sit. Come back. I really wish the surfacing worked better so you don't have to be that extreme with the sculpting to get it to roll back on. And then, like, it stops here. Not a you thing, that's the game. Nope. Didn't mean to put it that far fast. Got very lucky that even remotely came back. Really slippy past the pin as well. Thank goodness that went in. Okay, we made our birdie. Like this as well. I am less convinced by the... Yeah, really draws my eye and not in a good way. I really like all of this hole. Apart from that, I like that we've gone with some, like, chucked in a flat bottom bunker as well, of sorts. I think you can probably raise the land here a little bit more. Because you like the way this is, you'd want the bunker, the sand sitting right at the bottom of the wall, the stone texture. Interesting green as well. Yeah, this is good. I think bunkers generally, we've got a little bit of everything. I think this one could use a little more love with the sculpting. It's just a little flat here, and then dropping that down a little more would help you. So it's a really nicely set up par 3. It looks great. I love the amount of space you've given it as well. Still can't hit a tempo, but that should be... Oh, it's gone long. Okay, so we've got another side hill part. Higher I go. I'm hoping I'm just under hitting that. I felt if I really went at it, there's the risk of it going off the green. Even though this brings in 3 putts. Yeah. Yeah, I knew that when the tee shot landed. That's fine. Not an easy hole. Okay, now we get the out of bounds, I presume. We have our fans standing the out of bounds, which makes sense. In terms of the stadium aspect, I'm enjoying the course. I feel like the stadium aspect is a little sparse at the moment with the number of crowds. We could have spiced that up a little bit more. Hitting it down the left. Or rather, down the right and knowing that it's going to go left. This is nicely done. Kind of wish you'd gone and put a little bit more ruggedness in this with, like, some of the remove heavy rough or some rocks or things. Like, almost like this area being like properly native would have been really cool. And the same around here. It's like that, trying to find that balance between the stadium course of, like, it should be manicured and maintained and then not nasty, obviously. Hey, Sandgroper, how are you? Hopefully volume, etc. is alright. I have not streamed in a long time. Oh, hey Q. Yeah, I can see that. All that. Well, that rode the tightrope nicely. Oh, awesome. No. Volume is perfect. Happy days. Oh, we do have some people. Oh, wait. I've gone for the one without the chat. 1 second. There we go. Now we can see people's messages. My mistake. It's been a while. Yeah. It is. Difficulty is interesting on this course so far. And there's a couple of holes that go super wide. This one's... I'm not hitting driver. Freewood should clear, so we're fine. Oh, or we hit a really bad shot and we just get away with it. That's okay as well. Yeah, occasionally I think scaling just feels a bit too big. Like this is one of those holes where I think the fairway's just a touch too wide, but I mean, certainly not complaining from a playing point of view, more just like what you're going for, I guess. There we go. And like, I am suspecting that some of these grasses are very much autogen and kind of here for it. Like, they tie in pretty nicely. I think you would just need to add a few more just to tie these clumps together. Like a couple of little bit of rocks, but you can definitely use those and play into that well. I'm enjoying the like variety of par threes, fours, and fives as well. It's making it interesting. This little raise here is kind of hindering you being able to see this bunker as well as you might like, but it plays badly. Yeah, I'm enjoying taking it slowly and not really knowing what's coming. So like I haven't really deliberately when I run contests I try not to follow them so that when I do this it's like this is genuinely the first time seeing of them. I won't necessarily always do that, but it's been quite nice. Okay, cool little water feature, which is done well. And like actually makes sense on this style of course. I might have put a little bit of planting in here just to tie this in. Where do I actually... This green's really interesting too. Like, sort of thumbprint thing here. Then falling down. Like the big greens have given you a lot of freedom to kind of do some weird things, which is cool. I'm not sure how like this would play is the only thing, because like it does limit you getting at this pin and it's just going to roll you off into this light rough. Right, let's try and have a go at it. Oh, sit down hard. Come on, game, save me with your terrible surfacing physics. There we go. That was EA. That ball is dead. Hey, terrible chip, but at least we've got a putt. Slight double break. Nah, it's left. I think one thing that's also been really nice is having a relaxed contest where people feel like they don't have to scrutinize absolutely everything and make everything absolutely perfect. And like, this is cool as well. It's the course is, it's like as Q says, it's like difficulty is interesting because it is very variable, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like you have swings on courses. It's not necessarily pigeonholing itself. I think I'm happy to just take driver at this one. Pop it down here somewhere. One thing I will say is that this course is probably the most memorable of the ones I've played so far. We're into pitch shot hell. Pitching wedge flop. Not a shot anyone should ever consider, but Yeah. But yeah, you could definitely play that one differently. Lay up the full wedge. I'm not sure the side necessarily matters. And again, I kind of think it's just a bit wide. But the green does make up for a lot of it. I think that's been true of this course so far, actually. The greens have been really good. And they have made the hole designs. Oh, and this is our 9th. Ironically, here I would like a little bit more fairway. Asking for a 200 carriers. If this were downwind to a front pin, I'd want just down to about here. Nothing much, but a little bit more. But that's... let's see. A little bit of an upslope. Really like this, though. It's just simple. I like that you haven't over-bunkered it. Come on, get a kick left. You know you want to. I really did try. Yeah, I agree. Review's always been good at taking chances, and we do appreciate that. Just wondering, yeah, this is floating. Interesting. I guess it's kind of works. Keep turning, keep turning. Ooh. I would hope that this one does go on tour somewhere. Like, feels like a perfect for the kind of Mammoth era kinetic course in that it does that variable difficulty. Like, that's the sweet spot, really. Yeah, again, I feel the fairway is massive. We don't really need it when it shrinks way down. It does give you the option, but like, you know, no one's really playing way back here. We can have a more efficient version of this idea, I guess, is what I'm saying. And I will say, I gave a little critique on the small pines. I kind of like them. They're working nicely. Okay, not a full one. Goes and hits 102%. Great work. Yeah, this is the problem with those runoffs, just going into light rough. It's like, just for... I guess the issue is that you end up with the same outcome every single time. There's no variety in it. So it will just get a bit repetitive. Whereas if it goes into fairway, sometimes it rolls away, sometimes it doesn't. That's not a you thing. It's, well, it's how the game is, but I think we could adapt to that a little bit more. Yeah, okay. Well, this one is doing some things. This par 3 feels a little out there for my taste, but I see how there are other people who would absolutely love this. It's just, for me, it's maybe a little bit extreme, but I'm quite conservative with some of the things I like. It does frame really nicely, and this kind of ruggedy, remove heavy rough planting, I would love to have seen this a little bit more on some of the other holes, rather than the super width. But this is this looks great. And I think your bunkering ties in really nicely, particularly this one just sitting down that little bit looks great. And it's going to be an interesting par 3 because that longest pin I'd say is probably the easiest to get close to. I guess that's just a really playful hole. Like, it is a lot of fun. Okay, now we play over this kind of little ravine thing you've been working in earlier. I really like the wild terrain on this one. I kind of feel like you could have embraced that a little bit more with the drive rather than just sticking a few bunkers. Yeah, could have been. I can see that. We want to be down this side, I think. Kind of just don't really feel like I'm taking on any of the hazards with this hole. And like, I love all of the land movement. Problem for me is it's just kind of window dressing. Like, it's not really integral to the hole. Would be my only real critique here. But I like that it is there. I'd rather it's there than it's not. And this view looks great. Oh, I've missed it. Oh, no, I haven't. We're okay. I mean, it might be partly because I'm playing well. It might be partly because I'm less sleep deprived than recently, but I'm really, really enjoying this one. Yeah, again, like the width, I think, is the major issue. Like, just I'm all for width, but I think this is kind of just a. If you'd restrain this a little bit more, because there's only one tee shot anyway. If you have this drive, you just bang it down here anyway. So none of these bunkers are really coming into play, unless with wind, I guess. But then once you do get past that, you don't need any of this fairway. Oh, well, that was overdue. And that was totally my fault. Okay. Ah, now the bunkers are coming into play with terrible shot after terrible shot. Ugh. Oh, and I take away the fun approach shot. Oh, that's disappointing. Just suddenly completely lost my tempo. Interesting. One thing I probably would have done would be give a bit more of a landing zone, like a run up zone, because if someone is laying, they're going to need a little bit more than the. How far have we got? 10 yards to run the ball on, particularly for a front flag. I really did. I mean, I'm still having fun. I kind of wish I'd. This will be one hole I want to come back to because I think that approach is a lot of fun, and I just haven't given myself a chance to play it at all. Yeah, full green site. I'd have probably also just lowered this mound over here a little bit so you could see more of the quarry aspect of it. But again, like taking a chance, it's a good hole. Well, we got out there with a bogey, which is beyond fortuitous. Okay, 14. Oh, another interesting par 3. I think one other thing that's striking me at this, I kind of feel it's all very green. I know this is a weird critique, but I'd like to see a bit more differentiation between colours because I'm looking up here and I can't tell where the green is and where the fairway is really. Just a little differentiation between colours I think would have made this really pop. Particularly as you're going from very bright green through to the kind of rockier stuff. I think changing your heavy rough and your light rough just a little would have worked. These kind of light, these deep greens look great when you're not doing anything with the native land. Ooh. Tricky pin, because, well, we can go long, I think. Or not. That will do nicely. Yeah, like I love this bits of like these bits of planting it's just showing us now. Like even if they are or thread up or that, but even if those are autogen, they're used really tastefully. Yeah, I just don't think you needed the rocks, like because the texture stuff looks better anyway. I wish we had more control over this, but these, to my eye, look better than the rocks when you can clearly tell they're one piece, two pieces, etc. Okay, drivable par 4. Good place in the round to have it. Green running front to back, so that adds a good defense if you do lay up. You go for it, the better misses long. That bunker is annoyingly placed given this land movement as well. I don't think I can get close to that. Probably should have gone for it anyway, but I kind of feel just bumping it down here somewhere. Leaves a chip, good. As long as I get it up there. Yeah. Fun. Yeah, I maintain my thoughts on this. I think this stuff looks really good. These just, you can tell where they're intersecting, and yeah, I could see that too. It's a cool hole. Like, I'm really liking the swings in difficulty, to be honest. It's a fun, it's not a plat course, definitely not, but it is a really fun course to play. Like, this is great. You've just had loads of fun with the greens, and it shows. I'm not sure I'd put a pin on that spike. Like, I'd have given this one a little flat, but it's a short par 4, so. And loads of ways you could play it. Lighting's obviously doing this one some favours too, but this is a really, probably the strongest hole so far, I think. There's been some good ones. At least for my tastes. This does a lot of things I like. Yeah, almost yellow, but that's okay. I don't understand the red bollard, to be honest. No. Problem is, like, yeah, you look at LiDARs coming in, just like the slopes those pins are on. Sometimes, well, why do we have a 9-box rule? Because nobody adheres to it in real life. This maybe feels a touch similar to the previous, like you've done the kind of raised rumpled green a bit. I look at some of this stuff and I feel, could we have tackled this ground a little more directly? Could you be popping a green here or something? Like, obviously not from this tee, or like here, bring these right into play would be wonderful. And we've kind of played the, you can hit driver and have a short approach in, or you can lay back. We've kind of played that card a few. Like, don't get me wrong, still like the hole, but it's oh, there we go. We've just done that trick before, so try and do something a little different. Still a cool hole. Yeah, which I am all for. And then this one feels very different. This one is more stadium-y. We can cut a corner. May as well try and do. And we're going to go into that little bunker there. Okay. We're on par 5 and it's easily reachable. Yeah, I like the kind of lower profile of it. Could almost use a little more drama around this green. I'd want you to build up some of the mounding around it, I think, for an 18th. Oh, well, we're flashing way out to the right, but that's okay. It does feel like an 18th, but I think you can amp the drama up a little bit with how you sculpt these bunkers here and here, and just, I do like the way you've raised everything up for viewing is awesome. Here we go. Oh, other than that one hole, we played all right. And that's a ton of fun. Really, really enjoyed that. I thought the environment was cool. There's a couple of missteps for me, like the random red objects and things. I don't necessarily need to do, but that's super minor. I think my main thing would have been those rocks and just have the rockier areas instead. The hole designs I thought were really interesting. Occasionally went back to the well a little too often with that short par 4 or the raised green, and you could have tackled some of those ravines head on a little bit more. But I thought and then the only other thing I'd have would be the stadium crowds. Like, just let's have a few more of them. But overall, it's really engaging, interesting. I thought the greens were a real highlight. Just interesting and did different things, and it's just a ton of fun to play. So yeah, thank you for the course. Righty, we're gonna be back in a minute, and I'm gonna play another one. So cut the stream here, and then we'll be right back.